Hi and welcome, my name is Jesper and today I'm going to guide you through the process of creating a module for FusionCMS version 6. I'm going to use the example module as base. You can download it from the link below this video. So first of all, move it into your application/modules directory. I have it here, I have renamed it to tutorial, it's your choice. Then open up the manifest inside. First of all, give it a name. I'm going to name it tutorial module. And as module description you can put whatever you want. Test module. My name is Jesper Lindström and my website is raxisdev.com. Here is administration controllers and so on. I'm not going to teach you how to make that in this tutorial, so just leave it blank for now. Enabled is a runtime value that will be set to false or true if the module is disabled or enabled through the admin panel, so just leave it as it is. Then go into your controller. It's currently called my module. You should rename it to the name of your folder, so tutorial. Make sure the first letter is a capital letter. Also make sure to rename the file to the same. Tutorial. Here is my controller. The controllers are the place for all your actual logic. If you're not familiar with MVC, you should go check it out on the CodeIgniter documentation. It's really nice. Okay, if we open up a file here, FusionCMS/tutorial, it displays the default module, the example module. Welcome to your first module, blah blah blah. So it seems to work just fine. Okay, another nice thing with CodeIgniter is the routing system. You see that I don't put any like index or PHP stuff here, it's just /tutorial. I can even do like this and it should work, yeah. The first one is the module, the second one would be the controller, but as I've named my controller tutorial, it is this default, so you don't have to type it. So I think I should be able to do like this too. Yep. Okay. So what if I now do other method? It does not work. But what if I add that method to the controller? It has to be public. Function other method. And let's just do die. Hello world. It should work. Yep, it does. And what if I make it a private function? It won't work since CodeIgniter can't access private methods. So keep it a public. You can include custom configs for each module. To do so, go into your module folder and create a new folder called config. Then inside config, create a new file. myconfig.php. Now write a new PHP file which has a variable of config. It's an array, you can type whatever you want in here. My config value equals test. Then you save it. You don't need to close the PHP tags unless you have HTML after it, but you're not supposed to have that in a config. Now to load it, you just do this load config, my config. Now it should be loaded without errors, and you can use it across your entire module, since we loaded it in the constructor, which is called on each load. You can just as well put it in the index method here, but then it will only be loaded for this method, or rather on this instance. Now to access it, we can just do like this. Die this config item, and I named it, let's see, my config value. And what if I visit it right now? Test. Yep, it works just fine. And all the configs you create in your module will be editable from the admin panel. It's completely customized, and it shows a nice graphical user interface that lets them edit any values, even arrays and so on. So in case you just use a config file, you don't need to create your own admin page for that. They can edit it anyway. Okay, let's delete the config file since we don't want to use it anymore. Okay, views. Views are the place where you put all your HTML. Here is a view I have used for this module. It is in the example module. We load it using the template load page method here. What if we want to create a new module, a new view? We name it my view and save it. Now we'll create a new file, hello world, and we save it in the views folder as myview.tpl. Let's see if it works. And it does, yeah. It says hello world. The content you have in your view is going to be displayed in the box here. To create a box, you do like this. Template box. The first argument is the headline and the second is the content. You can actually do like this as well. Pass a third argument of true, and it should work without the second view method. But if you don't want to do that, or if you have several boxes you need to output, you can do like this. Box. We append the second box to the first HTML, and then we output it using this template view box, just like that. Now we have two boxes. What if I want to pass some CSS or JavaScript to it? Then we can do like this. The second argument would be the CSS starting from the application folder. So you don't need to type application, just do modules, tutorial, CSS, my style sheet.css. Now let's create a CSS folder in your tutorials folder here. CSS, and in the CSS we create a new file called my style sheet.css. Now it should be loaded. We can check it out actually. Let's see. Div ID test. And we give it a nice color of red. Let's see if it works. And it does, yeah. We can see here in the source code that it's loading my style sheet dynamically. You don't have to edit anything, you just pass it in there and it will load it automatically in the header. The same with JavaScript. If we make a new folder and call it JS and make a new file, myscript.js, we can do like var my script. We'll create an object and a method output, or say hi function alert say hi. Now here we pass the second argument as false, since we don't have any CSS anymore, and the third is going to be the JavaScript. Let's check it out in the console. My script, say hi, and let's call it. It works. It's loaded and it works just all fine. Now if we make a new table in our database of FusionCMS with an ID column, which is primary key and has auto encasement, and then we do test column with var, okay, right there, test table. Test table is here. Test 2, test 3. Now we are going to display it here. First we need to create a module. No, I mean a model. We do like this. We make a new file, PHP class my model extends CI code igniter model. Public function get. It's your choice what you name the functions, but I'm going to name it get. Let's save it here in the models as my model PHP. Oh, that first M should be lowercase, just like the file. Now to load it, you can do like this, just like the config. You do this load, but instead of config, you type module. Model. My model. Now we can access it like this. This my model do stuff. We are going to pass some data to our view. Rows. And we call the my model get method. That will soon return some data to the rows, which we pass on to the my view down here. Okay, you are always connected to the CMS database. You can just do like this db and then do methods like query, select from my table, or what did I name it? Test table. Test table. You can do like order by ID descending. Okay, we assign it to a variable, and then we can do it like this. If query num rows, if it had any results, we move on. Otherwise, we just return false. Row query result array. That would give the results as an array, and then we can just return row. Doesn't seem too complicated, does it? Okay, so now we would have the array assigned to the rows here. Now in my view, we can check it out. Okay, let's first see if we've got any errors. Okay, it's all blank, so it should work. We do if rows else. This is not real PHP, it's called Smarty, but it looks more or less the same as PHP, and you can actually access PHP methods inside of here. So you can do like time or date, YMD, or whatever you want, but you can't access the methods of CodeIgniter easily from here. So it's much easier if you just pass them here with the data here to the view. Okay, first of all we check if we have any results. If not, we do no results. And if we do, we have results. Now let's see. We have results. We do indeed have some rows in our test table. And what's next? We are going to loop it. This is pretty much like a for each loop in PHP, but it has a little different syntax. You do for each from rows item row, and then you close it like if it would be an HTML element or something. Now we are looping it here. We got a row that is the current row. So what did we call the columns? Test column, and then we just do a break line to make a new line, and it should align up nicely. Yes, it does. It loads from here just like we want it to. What if we make a new column, user ID int, oops, and save it, and then we assign, let's see what my user ID is. Jesper is ID 1. And save it, yeah. By user ID. Yeah, it says by 1. What if we want to show my username or nickname? Let's just type nickname here. This alone would cause an error since we haven't defined the nickname. So we are going to move it up a bit and do rows, and here above we declare rows like that. And now we're going to loop it before it's looped in the view. So for each loop as key value. If you're not familiar with for each loops before, go check out the PHP documentation or W3 schools or something. Rows key. We're going to make a new index here. Nickname, I think we call it. And we can do this user. We are accessing our user object. Get nickname. And then we can pass on the user ID to the method. It should give us the nickname of that specific user ID here. Let's see. Okay, now that's strange. Oh, since we haven't declared it, it thinks it's false, so it just returns the current user. But what if we do like this? I don't think there are any users on 2 and 3, so it just shows unknown. Okay. Now, what else can you do with the user class here, our user library? We can just create a new method actually to test some new stuff. This user we can access, let's see, yeah, get nickname. That would just give the current user's nickname. But we can also do this user get nickname 1. That would give the nickname of a user with ID 1. There is a very similar one called this user get username, since we separate the nicknames and the usernames to gain some additional security. Then you can always access a lot of methods to the current user, like get VP and get DP, donation points and vote points. And you can also do set VP 500, that would give the current user 500 VP, and same with DP. Okay. What else is there? There is online. That's a simple check that returns true or false whether the user is online or not. You can also do require rank 1, that would require the rank which has an ID of 1 in the ranks table here. Let's bring it in, which is guest. So guest would be the minimum one. So if we put 6, it would be owner only, or higher perhaps, but there are no higher ranks. If you want to make it kill the whole page, if the user does not have access, then you have to pass true as the second parameter. Otherwise it would just return true or false. So you can do like if is guest or higher, and so on. Then there are some similar methods. Is logged in. That would simply require the user to log in, and if not, it will send him to the login form. And it's also one called is not logged in. Yeah, I think you can find out what it does yourself. And then if you want to access the realmd or auth or logon connection, where all the accounts and so on are, you can also directly access it by this external account model. It has quite a few methods, but you don't really need to access them, since you just use the user library. But if you want to get the connection, you can do like this: get connection db. Now we can do db query and so on, just like we did in the model. You should probably put this in a module as well to separate it from the controller. Now to the realms. This realms get realm with ID 1. I don't think I have a realm with ID 1 actually. Yes, I do. Here it has ID 1 in the realms table of FusionCMS. It would give you access to the realm system, which I'm going to talk more about very soon. You can also do like this if you want to loop all realms, which you are most likely wanting to do if you make like a online players page or something. This realms get realms as realm. Simple as that. Now here inside we can access like realm get ID. That would in this case return 1 since my realm has ID 1 in the realms table here. You can also do get name. That would return, let's see, test realm here. Other than that, you can do get online, which would get the current online players count. Is online, which would return true if the realm was online in the past 5 minutes. Remember, this is cached, so if you want to make sure it's actually online right now, you have to pass true as an argument. That would force it to refresh. Okay, so then there is get world, which would get you the world model that is assigned to that specific realm. It has a few methods like get item. So if we do like that, it would give us Armageddon as an array. And if we do get connection, we can do query and so on, just like I've showed you before. The same goes for get characters, yeah. It also has a get connection method corresponding to the characters database. There are a few other methods of that one. It has get online players, which would return an array of the player data that are online. Then you have get emulator. I'm going to talk more about that later, perhaps in the documentation too, since in case you want to support more than one emulator in your module and you use emulator specific code like certain SQL queries that are not provided in our system, you have to use certain methods in the emulator library to support it, to translate the column names and so on. But for now you don't need to access get emulator. Okay, realms has a few more methods. You have realm exist. You can do it like this and it will return true, since I have a realm with ID 1. And you can also do get expansions. That would return an array of expansions that are enabled. You know, you can disable certain expansions. Like if you don't use Cataclysm, you can just disable it. If we do like this, we get all the expansions on expansion variable there. We can do print R to display all the contents of that array, and if we pass true to make it return it. Now if we access test, it would show us. You can do like this. I have Wrath of the Lich King, the Burning Crusade, and none. That would respond to vanilla WoW. Those are the ones I have enabled. Then you can like loop them and so on to display them in forms and whatever you want. I think that's about it for today. I'm definitely going to provide more information as soon as possible, especially in the documentation, where all the methods will be documented and so on. I hope this gave you a little insight on how to create modules, and I hope that you can like find your way around our system a little more, and hopefully create something nice to put on the marketplace and perhaps earn some money as well. It's really nice to see. Thank you. Goodbye.